What's going on, great people out there? Check out my video today on 7 reasons why people date or marry interracially. I'll get into this topic because it's something that I like to discuss, especially from a black man's point of view. So let's go ahead and get to it. 7 reasons why people choose to date or even marry interracially. One of the biggest causes of people who tend to flip out or have some type of controversy when it comes to interracial dating or marriage is because people have a different concept of marriage and relationships pertaining to their own life view or their own perspective and how they think things should be. But in all actuality, that's not always the case. So here's reason number one of as to why people date or marry interracially. Number one, proximity. Some people like the idea of dating and marrying interracially based on the fact that they live in the same environments, they go to the same schools, they work in the same workplaces as different people who they find attraction to. A lot of times you'll catch a black man who's grown up predominantly around white people and he ends up dating and marrying a white woman. Why? Because there's not a lot of black women around and his experiences with dating has been predominantly with white women. So, for the most part, let's say he has a good experience with white women, you can bet your bottom dollar he'll 9 times out of 10 probably end up dating or marrying a beautiful Caucasian female. It's the same thing with black women who date and marry white women or white men, or vice versa. It's the same thing with Latinos who marry whites, so on and so forth. People date pretty much based on proximity. If you have an environment where it's predominantly black, most likely they might, unless they leave the environment, end up dating their own. But at the end of the day, people date and marry interracially based on proximity. Reason number two, natural attraction. Some people just have a natural attraction for people of other races, and there's nothing wrong with that. We live in a society today where it's 2025 and people of all races and ethnicities are hooking up, doing what makes them happy in terms of relationships, trying to find love where it suits them and where it's best fit. People have a natural attraction for different groups outside of their own because it's something different, right? They never seen it or they haven't experienced somebody before like that, so they tend to gravitate more towards that, right? Natural attraction pertaining to looks, pertaining to their energy, their vibe, how they connect, their connection. Those things are what naturally attract people of different ethnicities and backgrounds, and why they end up interracial dating or marrying. Number three, they want to try something different, right? You have black people who predominantly grow up around their own, and sometimes they decide, well, you know what? I hear all these things about white people or Latinos or Asians, and then they start to encounter them. So when they start to encounter them, they start having conversations with them, and they start realizing, these people aren't as racist as people try to perceive them to be, or these people seem to have the same kind of views, or they have a different view. They open my mind to something different, right? Sometimes people just want to step out of their comfort zone and to see what it's like to be with someone of a different race, culture, in order to open their mind and broaden their horizons. Pretty much break the ice. So people date and marry interracially to try something different. Number four, bad experiences. This is a key point, a talking point that I want to bring up in this video today because oftentimes people who date and marry interracially, a lot of times they'll talk about experiences they've had dating their own. You have black men who date and marry white women who've had horrible experiences dating black women, right? That's not to say that all black women or every black woman is a bad woman, right? But it's the same thing vice versa. Maybe some black women have not had the best experience of dating black men. White women have not had the best experience of dating, white men, right? So they decide, oh, I want to go try and date someone black or date someone Latin or Asian, right? It's a way of stepping out of their comfort zone and trying something new and doing something different because of their own bad experiences. Oftentimes in our society, you have groups who think that no matter what you go through within your own race, culture, and community, that you should stay there and date and marry within your own community, no matter what you go through, no matter the spousal abuse, no matter the fact you have kids, so on and so forth. And at the end of the day, while I would not argue people's own life view and perspective, if that's what they choose to believe, then so be it. Do your thing, believe what you choose to believe. But at the end of the day, bad experiences lead people to want to move out and try something different. Sometimes people face rejection and feel like they're not good enough. So then all of a sudden they go around to a different race or different group of people and it works there. Some things change up. Your vibe is not always your vibe and your tribe don't always mix with people in your own group, but then it mixes very well with someone of a different race, different community. Sometimes your vibe and how you think, how you act, and how you communicate is different and have a different flow of life, of expectations and experiences, which lead you to date outside of your race. Number five, people have a strong connection or pretty much have the same views. You'd be surprised or remiss to find out how many people, when you congregate together of different race and different ethnic groups, how much you actually have in common with white people if you're black, or if you're white Latin, or if you're Latin with black people, right? Asian with white, Asian with black, so on and so forth. You'd be pretty remiss to find that these people actually have the same views economically. This person voted for Trump the way I voted for Trump. And they voted for Trump because of the same reasons I want the economy to be better. This person voted for Harris because of the same views I have on women's rights. You'd be remiss. A lot of times some people get caught up within their own little community, within their own circles of thinking, oh, all white people are racist and all Asians are difficult to come across. But then when you talk to them, you start to think, these people actually think the same way or have the same views, and I actually find a strong connection. Sometimes you get into a conversation and you want to continue that conversation, you want to continue that bond, and you want to get to know more about that person. Why? Because they have a certain intellectuality, obviously their attraction as far as their looks, so on and so forth, and just a conversation. So you tend to vibe, you tend to want to be around those people. You tend to vibe to where you decide, I actually want to try this and actually be with this person, see what these people or this person's about. So as you're vibing, you're like, you know what? I like this person. Number six, it's taboo. It's 2025. I know you're going to probably bring up the point, why is it taboo? It's taboo because it's still something that some people still have an issue of dealing with internally, which is their own insecurity, iniquities, and inability to understand. Some people just do not like it. Some people look at it from a financial perspective. Some people look at it and think from a race perspective. Some people look at it and just don't have a like or disdain for someone else, and they decide, why not? But it's seen as taboo, right? Taboo meaning it's rare or it's something that isn't supposed to happen, but at the end of the day, people are going to be people. There are no laws that prohibit who you can date and marry the way it used to be. And at the end of the day, people should live their lives and do what makes them happy, date and marry the women or men and people that are going to bring you the happiness, peace, and joy. That's not to say all relationships will be perfect. However, work through them, find ways to bond and gel together, and just go date and marry who makes you happy. It should not matter. Being taboo is pretty much objective to the idea of opening your mind and receiving new blessings bigger and better and greater than what you've ever had and received before. All right, number 7, fantasy. While I will argue that it's not wrong for people to like the fantasy idea of dating and marrying interracially, at the end of the day, I think that when you're dating or you're marrying somebody, you should look beyond the fantasy. But some people just like the fantasy. Some people like trying something different. Some people like that, oh my God, this strong, beautiful, handsome black man, or this amazing white woman, or this amazing Latina woman, or this gorgeous black woman, or this, sexy, Asian chick, or this beautiful Indian woman. Some people just like the fact that this Hawaiian girl just looks amazing, right? And a lot of times people step outside to kind of see what the fantasy is sexually. A lot of the fantasy that people date and marry interracially have a lot to do with, in their opinion, when it comes to the fantasy, the sexual experiences. Right now, while the sexual experiences are not always the reasons why people date and marry interracial, which I think a lot of times you have to debunk that stereotype. A lot of times people just like something different and want to see the experience of dealing and mating with someone else that they've yet to experience. So overall in this video, when it comes to interracial dating, interracial marriage, there are a vast number of reasons as to why people date and marry interracially. Some people just like the fact that you're something different that they've never experienced or have yet to be around, and they simply just like having strong connections, building strong connections, living a happy life, opening their minds, and getting to know people outside of their own culture, race, and community. Honestly, it's a great thing and a great way to be because it allows you to see life from a different lens other than a life than one stuck perspective based on what your parents, culture, and community, or even one perspective in society tries to teach you. At the end of the day, you gotta live life on your own terms based upon what you think is gonna make you happy and your values and your culture values. Sometimes you have to debunk those as well. So that's all for today's video. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video. If you're new to my content and you like my channel, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to my content. And I'll get back at you with another video. Take care.